Today you're about to confront the greatest challenge men silently struggle with: why women don't take you seriously, and how to make them chase you, pursue you, and even crave your attention by applying the hidden rules Machiavelli used to command human behavior. In a world where men beg and women choose, only a rare few understand the real truth. Power is never owned by the strongest. It belongs to the man who understands strategy. Niccolo Machiavelli revealed that human beings are predictable, influenceable, and deeply controlled by the illusion of power. And today, I'm going to uncover the 5 hidden rules that, when used with precision, can shift a woman from ignoring your existence to craving your presence. These are not cheap tricks. These are psychological laws extracted from political warfare. Apply them correctly, and you don't compete with other men. You rise above them effortlessly. The fatal mistake most men make. In the world of human connection, most men repeat the same destructive error. They assume a woman is attracted through constant availability, instant replies, and unlimited emotional devotion. But Machiavellian reality says the opposite. A man's value is not defined by what he gives, it's defined by what he withholds. Scarcity, when applied with intelligence, becomes a psychological weapon that reshapes how a woman perceives you, and perception is everything. Because as Machiavelli warned, what is common is ignored. What is difficult to obtain becomes treasure. Think about that. What happens inside the mind when something becomes scarce? The moment something becomes limited, the brain awakens an ancient instinct, the urge to chase, to hunt, to desire what cannot be easily accessed. Humans, especially in romance, never pursue what is guaranteed. They pursue what they fear losing. And this is the essence of strategic scarcity. A man who is not available to everyone, who does not reply instantly, who does not collapse at the first sign of attention becomes someone intriguing, desired, valued, and extremely hard to replace. When you strategically reduce your presence, you are not being cold. You are sending a silent message. My time is valuable. My energy is valuable. Not everyone gets access to me. That posture forces the other person to try harder, to prove interest, to invest emotionally. And in psychology, the one who invests attaches. The mind justifies its effort by creating deeper desire. Women do not chase men who give themselves away instantly. They chase the men who must be earned. But remember, scarcity must be authentic, not childish. It is not about ignoring her for the sake of ignoring her. It is not the immature "I won't reply, so she wants me more." That is cheap manipulation, and a woman senses it instantly. Real scarcity comes from reality. You have a life rich with goals, projects, priorities, a mission greater than any relationship. A man who lives like this does not need to pretend to be scarce. The scarcity appears naturally because his world does not revolve around a woman. That is the essence of true attraction. But most men do the opposite. They abandon their passions, pause their projects, and put their life on hold to pour all their energy into a woman who hasn't even shown she deserves that effort. And by doing so, they lose the one thing that actually creates desire, the feeling that she is accessing something rare, something with options, something that is not desperate for attention. When she senses that you are not available to just anyone, that you have standards, that you have boundaries, that you will not sacrifice your senna for a drop of validation, your value skyrockets. Scarcity is not only about time, it is also emotional. You do not reveal everything, you do not drop your entire life story on the table. You do not expose all your emotions on day one. You leave space. You build mystery, you let her wonder, what is he thinking? What is he feeling? What is inside his world? Intrigue is the fuel of desire. Predictability is its death. When a woman feels she already knows everything about you, that she has you fully, that there is nothing left to discover, her attention fades. But when she feels there are still layers to uncover, questions unanswered, parts of you she does not yet understand, her mind stays active, her desire stays alive. Applying strategic scarcity means living from a place of absolute self-respect. You do not tolerate behavior that lowers your dignity. You do not chase. You do not beg, you do not compete. You become the man who observes, evaluates, and decides. That alone shifts the entire dynamic. Because when a woman senses that you are not desperate for her approval, that you are the one evaluating whether she deserves a place in your life, the power changes hands. And in emotional dynamics, power always flows to the one who needs the least. But scarcity is only the beginning. Now we reach the next rule because it is not enough to be scarce. You must also control what you reveal and how you reveal it. Information is a form of power in the psychology of desire. To Machiavelli, power was not held by the strongest, but by the one who decided what was seen and what remained hidden. In emotional strategy between men and women, the same rule applies. The one who controls the flow of information controls the rhythm of desire. A man who masters this principle becomes an irresistible challenge, because a woman cannot stop thinking about what she cannot fully understand. In a world where nearly all men expose themselves instantly, revealing their intentions, their emotions, their insecurities, their hopes, even their childhood wounds, the man who does not fully expose himself rises above the rest. When a man remains slightly out of reach, when a part of his life stays in shadow, she cannot stop wondering, what is behind that? What else is there? Why can't I read him completely? This is exactly what Machiavelli would advise. Never allow yourself to be read like an open, predictable, boring book. Be an unfinished story. Be a chapter missing. Be a secret she cannot decode. But mystery does not mean silence. Absolute silence creates distance, and distance when excessive kills interest. Mystery is not silence. Mystery is a dance, a rhythm of showing a little, hiding a little, offering selected truths and guarding the pieces that make you valuable. Continued, calculated mystery is not absence. It is strategy. It is giving her just enough to open a door in her imagination, but never enough to satisfy it. And the moment a woman's imagination begins to work, desire begins too. Curiosity begins, emotional investment begins. This is where most men fail. They reveal too much too fast. They think total transparency makes them trustworthy, interesting, lovable. But in reality, it makes them predictable. And predictable never seduces. A woman loses interest in a man who exposes himself without resistance, who pours out his personal story in the first conversations, who empties his entire past on the table without being invited. A man like that has no mystery, and without mystery there is no fascination.